Let's do it. Hey, 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 what's happening, party people? How we doing? Let's get it. All right. Yes, we need to know you're on vacation. We definitely need to know this. This is very pertinent to our lives. Your flex is very pertinent to our lives. Oh no, I didn't mean to post there. No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was the only place I wanted to post. Okay, fine. They'll live. They'll deal. I can't post it there. Okay.
I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass.
Instagram and share. I got a dope.
Don't get swallowed in that fat
dope
ass.
show
I
plan
got
for
racks
tonight.
to the ATM jam. Tell me what you want.
I'm actually prepared tonight.
I got racks to the ATM.
I didn't like the way the last week's episode went.
I got racks to the ATM jam.
I wanted to get a little bit of a head start. I wanted to give myself a little bit of a cushion.
I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you want to do.
Just in case it's a slow news week. This week is a little less slower than last week, but it's still a slow news week nonetheless. But we're gonna get in. We're gonna get in and we're gonna go in. Alright. So let's begin. I'm not even stunting TikTok. Anymore. Whatever TikTok gonna do is what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? All that matters is what's going on right here, right now. Right here and right now. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to Coretta Scott on Facebook. Thanks for the share. Actually, that's what I want to do. I want to share. Shout out to Tara Powell Blackwell. She live in Fayetteville? Interesting. That's what I want to do. I'm gonna share this live stream to my to the relevant post for this evening. So the main topic for tonight's show is going to be based off of a Facebook post I made. We'll get to that though. I got some other things in the celebrity news world, the trivial news world that I want to talk about. I want to touch on. No pun intended. All right. So let's begin. So first of all, I want to be last one of you for tuning into this multi-million-dollar stream. I'm your host, Kev Prosper, the owner and founder of Prosperity U LLC. Prosperity U is creating a society of wealth, positivity, and inspiration. You are tuned into Love and Money, the podcast of Prosperity U LLC. I want to thank you for contributing to the Cash App above, $Prosperity U LLC. Take a screenshot, zoom, tap, and hold. It will take you to the Cash App at $Prosperity U LLC. Go to that Cash App and give it everything you got, why don't you? And then after you do that, visit the website below at prosperunlimited.com. Yes, prosperunlimited.com. Allow that website to change your life. I guarantee it, because it changed mine. All right, and thank you for liking, subscribing, following, and sharing. But most importantly, thank you for sharing, because sharing is caring. That's right, boys and girls. And if you like the show, give a gift or just give a like. The likes are free. The likes are free. And remember, we do this every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And last but not least, don't forget to invest in the brand Prosperity ULLC. All right. Let's get to the first topic at hand. I'm about to hit this sound effect the entire conversation on this topic right here. So, for those who may not know, for those who've been under a rock, Marvin Sapp has been going viral this past week for technically nothing's gonna come of it. But, he technically, and people know well enough not to take it seriously, Let me preface, pastors are known to be dramatic. Most pastors and preachers are known to be dramatic for the sake of effect. You know what I mean? They want to convey a message to their congregation, and you're speaking to a mass of people, you know what I mean? On in person and on through the interwebs, you're speaking to a mass of people, and you want to communicate your message effectively, and so you have to you want to capitalize on that psychological real estate, and so you rely on the spectacle of and the pageantry of the pulpit to convey your message. You know what I mean? And it's not. You could Google it. He told the staff to close the doors. You know what I'm saying? And have the church donate $40,000. Now, a lot of people. First of all, most people don't really understand business. By law, the church is supposed to be a non-profit organization. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be listed as a non-profit organization, and so when it comes to taxes and tax law, and just accounting practices, there's a lot of scrutiny on nonprofit, because how are you supposed to be a business and you're nonprofit, right? Like, it's kind of oxymoronic, you know what I mean? But there's supposed to be a community giving aspect or element to it. You know what I mean? So the profits that you do make have to be reassessed or reprioritized, or so on and so forth. You know what I mean? I don't mean to be too geeky in the weeds with it. You know what I mean? I don't want to dry any vaginas. But ultimately, there's a lot of pressure. Once you become a mega church, you tend to build a machine. You build a profit machine. You know what I mean? And so the message of hope, the drug of hope, has to be sold. The needle has to be dug a little deeper into the veins of your congregation. You know what I mean? In order to feed this machine, and so he was trying to create an element of despair, by locking the congregation in. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he was well aware that if it had come to a more drastic measure, then yeah, if you feel that triggered, yeah, you're welcome to leave. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure that the spectacle of it was what captivated the audience, not so much the physical incarceration of it, the physical kidnapping of it by locking the gesture of the staff actually locking the doors. You know what I mean? But my main question is, what is it about these church dudes? They always husky as the fuck. Like, yo, the Sunday dinner be that good? Like, really? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? What's going on? They always burly as fuck. Like, what is it? What is it? But yeah. And a lot of times, most of the times, if the Bible says, if you ask, you shall receive, right? And so he's probably low on, they looking at their bottom line, and they looking at their projections and things like that, and they're saying, yo, we struggling right now. And I feel like, if you ever want to get a pulse on, if you want to put your finger on the pulse of the community, visit the churches. If you go to any neighborhood, whether it's a suburb or a ghetto, visit the church. You get a real healthy pulse on the community, because the gangsters and the thugs might not be in the church. The businessmen and the suits and ties might not be in the church, but their mothers are in the church. Their aunties are in the church. You know what I'm saying? Their wife and kids are probably in the church while they're not. And so you get a real feel of the community when you visit a church, and then you get a real feel of the economy when you visit a church too. The social economy. You know what I mean? You see, you can visit a church and tell, oh, this is a hood. This is in the hood. You can visit a church and tell, oh, this is in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? You can look at the demeanor. You can look at the health of the people. You know what I mean? And just tell what state the community is in. You know what I mean? And so for him to act that drastically, it's a sign of what the socioeconomics is in his community. I remember when I was attending a mega church back in my younger years, in my early 20s and whatnot. I remember like receiving letters every week. You know what I'm saying? To give tithes. You know what I mean? Like, it's a machine. It's really a machine. It's listed as non-profit, but it's very for profit. And it's very much a machine. And every week, the pastor was complaining about tithing. You know what I mean? He had to preach about tithing and give a holy message about tithing, and rile the people up about tithing. And so when I see a situation like this, I'm like, oh, okay, you're pressed, and not to go left or right or up or down, but it is very there's a thing. This is new to me, and when I say new to me, I don't mean like I've just learned this in a few years. I'm talking about a few weeks, where the energy, you kind of repel money when you give off an energy of desperation. Remember, I talked about the church. Most preachers, they rely on spectacle to convey their message, right? And what Marvin Sapp was doing was trying to create an element of despair. He's trying to create an element of desperation. And what I learned is that desperation repels money, because desperation says you need money, therefore you lack money. You only need money because you lack money. So desperation is a sign of lack. And if you're giving off an energy of lack, that's all the energy that you're going to get back from the universe. I just learned that like recently. I'm like, oh my God, like it kind of like that knowledge, like how the Bible says, like, the dove lands on your head. You know what I mean? It was like a cool feeling on my head, and it just gave me comfort. You know what I mean? Because it's like all these decades of my life, I've been living in desperation and wondering, why can't I achieve the level of money that I want to achieve? And it's like, oh, because I've been giving off an energy of desperation. You know what I mean? And it was just a jewel. It was a gem. You know what I'm saying? Like, here, have that. You know what I mean? And it woke me up. So when I see and understand what the pastor's doing, but and all press is good press. All publicity is good publicity, right? That's what they say. So maybe this may benefit him, but how will it benefit him in the long run? You know what I mean? How will it benefit him in the long run? I'm pretty sure there's not too many other pastors. pastors and preachers, you can always juxtapose, the black preachers with Joel Osteen, where he's smiling all the time and everything's always going great and everything's good and yeah, praise the Lord, yeah, you know what I mean? but when it comes to black, quote unquote, black preachers and the black church, there is a kind of secular, inter-secular culture within that, a subculture. You know what I'm saying? You have church culture and then you have black church culture. You know what I mean? And so, but what a lot of black people don't realize is a lot of black American culture is built on trauma. You know what I mean? And it's funny, I saw a post that said, what did it say? It said, we reject everything about slavery except Christianity. Bars. You know what I mean? We reject everything about slavery except Christianity. And like, that hit like a ton of bricks, because I do believe that would shake the ground that a lot of black, if that message was, shouted from the mountaintops, that would shake the ground that a lot of black American people walk on. You know what I mean? Just black people in the Western Hemisphere, because we've been very, very much, like, across the diaspora, we've been very, very much colonized. You know what I mean? And understanding to learn your history and learning the tool and the weapon that Christianity became, you know what I mean, in the African slave trade, like, you know what I mean, like, just that kind of knowledge. I also posted on my Facebook timeline of, when people, like, quote unquote, catch the Holy Ghost, you know what I mean, when they go through that physiological trance, and what's really, there's actually connections to the spiritual trance that African tribes people were going through. There was actual footage. It was a clip I showed on my Facebook timeline of footage of African tribes people going through a spiritual trance, similar to the way people, quote unquote, black American people, quote unquote, catch the Holy Ghost. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things in church, in the quote unquote black church, that carried over from the African culture that we call it church, but we don't realize where it came from. We have no knowledge of our history. You know what I mean? I'm going off on a tangent, but it is very needed. It is very needed, because I think a lot of people are well aware that the church is dying. Church culture in America is dying, especially in the black church, and a lot of people, because we're waking up, we're educating ourselves, and we're being educated, and we're the consciousness level, the level of consciousness is rising, and we're not like the baby boomer generation and some of a great portion of the Gen X generation, where we relied on hope and imagination. You know what I mean? To get us through, to emotionally carry us through our lives. We can no longer rely on that. We have to be more pragmatic and practical about our existence. You know what I mean? And even if we're going to be spiritual, we must be consciously spiritual, not blind, and not so much blind about it, because it's the way we were raised, and it's what everybody believes in our friends, in our family, in our community, in our homes. You know what I mean? We have to find God for ourselves. I hate to be so, I don't mean to be so deep, but this is the messaging that I'm receiving right now. You know what I mean? So take it as you will. Take it as you will. So yes, I'm downloading. I'm sorry. So yeah, the consciousness is elevating, and we're finding God for ourselves, and we're waking up from the sleep. We're waking up, and I think that's showing Whereas someone like Marvin Sapp, a popular gospel singing artist, who is also a preacher and a church leader, you know what I'm saying, has to act out of desperation, you know what I'm saying, to convey his convey a message to his congregation, in order to up their donations, being as that they're a nonprofit organization, but yet they have to feed a machine in a dying culture, in a suffering economy. You know what I mean? It just, you see how I tied that all together? You see how I came full circle and tied that all together in a nice, pretty little bow? You know what I'm saying? And it's for the children. It's for the children. But yeah, just to make that all make sense, let me check my Instagram. Yes. So, I think I'm streaming on the wrong. How do I wonder. You know what? It's all right. It's all right. I'm streaming on the wrong. I was cooking too, boy. I was cooking. But you know what? My other Instagram will get it. They'll get it. My bad, y'all. Hold on. Let me do this. Let me do this. I'm just gonna give a call. Maybe they'll come over. Maybe hopefully they will. One can only hope, right? If you ain't got hope, what you got? Hold on. How do I? Let me give a real. No. Oh, I be thinking the volume button. I be thinking the volume button will help me record it. All right. What's up, Instagram? I'm so sorry. I forgot to switch accounts. So go to Prosperity Gaming and catch my live tonight for Love and Money. I forgot. So go over to Prosperity Gaming, and then I'm gonna bring it back over here and catch me tonight. Tune in. Yeah, my bad, y'all. How do I? Where's the? Yeah, there we go. What's up, Instagram? I'm so sorry. I forgot to switch accounts. So go to Prosperity Gaming and catch my live tonight for Love and Money. I forgot. So go over to Prosperity Gaming, and then I'm gonna bring it back over here and catch me tonight. Tune in. How do I get rid of that? Yeah. Let me put my little @ symbol. What's my Instagram again? I don't even be knowing. Oh my god. Is it an underscore Prosperity Gaming? I don't know. Which one is it? What's up, Instagram? I'm so sorry. I forgot to switch account. Let me see. Which one is it? Hold on. I gotta be sure. I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure there's no underscores in my whatchamacallit. Okay, yeah, there's no underscores. Okay, great. I'm sorry. Period. I went live on the wrong account. Come to Prosperity Gaming. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, share it. There you go. 1 second, guys. Who that? I don't know her. All right, enough sidetrack. Enough sidetrack. All right, let's get back to it. So, speaking on Marvin Sapp, so I think I packaged that up and put that together well enough. You know what I'm saying? So that it can. What's up, Instagram? So that it can, whatchamacallit, forever inconsistently. I'm so sorry, I forgot to switch accounts. So I want to get into the next topic. And catch my live tonight for Love and Money. I forgot. So go. Yeah. I gotta make sure. I don't know how I messed that up. I don't know how I messed that up, but I did. So let's get into our next topic. Let me see. Let me get into the next topic. Where was I? How do I? Yeah, here we go. All right, so I want to. Excuse me. Let's talk about this tonight. Hold on, I gotta get it right. Let me. Yeah. Let me move it down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, yes, sirski. Let's give a round of applause for Erykah Badu. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So the queen, the queen went ahead and as you know, she's an artist, so she's sensitive about her shit. And so she wanted to make a statement. She wanted to make a message. She wanted to send a message in very Kanye-esque fashion. I remember I was studying philosophy, and they said, I read somewhere that said that if you want to run a country, you shouldn't elect politicians. You should vote artists and scientists. You know what I mean? And that stuck with me. Because I mean, politicians, they're schemers, they're mentalists, they're very much, chess players in a way when it comes to politics. But there's an element of reasoning and practicality and sensibility that artists and scientists bring. They kind of level things. But like a scientist, he's very logical, he's pragmatic, he's very calculated about things. An artist is very sensible and sensual, and they're very empathic, you know what I'm saying, to their environment and their circumstances. And these kind of elements of the brain, form a healthy matrix of leadership, so to speak. I'm using way too many big words. I don't know who's following me or who's not, but I hope you guys are with me. But yeah, and so Erykah Badu, she's what you would call a pure artist. You know what I mean? I think she's blessed to come up in the era that she did. Where the purity of music and soulful music was still appreciated. You know what I mean? Which is why she has the status that she has, in order for her, which allows her to, put forth a message like this. You know what I mean? I keep calling it a message because that's what I saw it as. I didn't see it as a gimmick or a she doesn't need to do that. She doesn't need to do this right here. She doesn't have to do things like this. Her reputation speaks for itself. Her reputation precedes her. You know what I mean? So for her to go out of her way like this, there has to be some underlying current behind it. There has to be something more to it, you know, and most definitely, what I got from it. Now, if this was a message, what I got from it was, you know, okay, let me before I go in, think of it this way: like when I talk to the young bulls, right? And you know they wear their pants like sagging almost down to their kneecaps, damn near, right? And I'm like, okay, I asked them, I said, yo, if I dress like that, what would you say about me? If I dress like that, what would you say about me? You feel me? You see what I'm saying? So it's like what makes you think it's cool for you to dress like that, but you wouldn't want to see nobody else dress like that, right? Like, but what kind of fashion statement are you sending? And so now juxtapose, she has the, you see what's going on right here, right? So you know she's an entertainer. When there are other women in the entertainment industry who are augmenting themselves, right? Who are augmenting their bodies and going through surgery after surgery, and now and you know she's taking a responsibility. She's saying, I'm an entertainer, I'm a purveyor of culture, you know what I mean? And when I make a statement, that statement reverberates throughout the culture. And so the common people, the common folks, the non-entertainers are going to take it and run with it. And not only is she doing that, but all of the other entertainers who are going through surgery after surgery and augmenting themselves and trying to look away to get approval from men, right? They're sending that message as well. So she's putting on this costume in a way to mock them. And saying, this is how you look. This is an exaggeration of how you look in the eyes of the people that you're seeking approval from. Yeah, it's a spectacle. Yeah, you know, you're garnering attention, right? Good attention is still attention, right? Like it doesn't matter if your self-esteem is that low. It doesn't matter, right? Yeah, so you're garnering attention. You're garnering sexual attention. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, but at what cost? She's holding a mirror up to these women, up to these people, and saying, you look goofy. Flat out. You look goofy. You know what I mean? And yeah, with all the attention that you're getting, what is it costing you? You know what I mean? What is it doing for you in the long run? Here I am, you know what I'm saying, big auntie OG Erykah Badu looking like you. It don't hit the same, do it? So now, and you know, and this I think this is what people say when they say what most of these entertainers mean when they say, well, as long as I can look at myself in the mirror, I can go to bed and go to sleep at night. You know, as long as I can look at myself in the mirror, I can go to sleep at night. This is what they mean when they say that. This is what they figuratively mean when they say that. If I can see the fruits of my labor and be comfortable with it, and be pleased with it, and be rewarded by it emotionally, you know what I'm saying? If I can see the fruits of my labor and be pleased with it, then I can say, you know, like you know, after God building the world in 7 days, you know what I'm saying, it is done. I am pleased with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good, right? So yeah, this is the message that Erykah is sending in this particular scenario. You know what I mean? Now, is what she's doing, is she gonna stop it? Like, come on, like be real with ourselves. Are these women gonna stop getting these surgeries? Come on, son. Like, are these women gonna, now the seed has been, the seed of consciousness has been planted. You know what I mean? There are some of these women who are gonna think twice before their next surgery. And supposedly maybe, you know what I'm saying, forego and waive their neck surgery in an attempt to get reacquainted with what God gave them. You know what I mean? Let's keep that a beam. And for the first time maybe in their entire lives, accept them for who they are, accept themselves for who they are. Maybe for the first, maybe maybe the seed will be planted, and maybe for once in their lives, they'll accept their nappy hair. They'll accept their chocolatey skin. They'll accept their their bell pepper nose and their soup cooler lips. Maybe, just maybe, right? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But a woman like Erykah, a big auntie OG Erykah, is simply just a vessel. She's simply a messenger, and she's playing her part in the universe by holding a mirror up to these women, because she cares. It's apparent that she cares. If she was to go this far on a stage like Billboard, you know what I'm saying, to send a message like this, she cares. She cares about her sissies, her sister girls. You know what I'm saying? She cares. You know what I mean? So would you really, like, if and then here's another caveat. If you were one of these women that she's holding up a mirror to, and you were to be triggered and upset and want to lash back, right? Why? Hurt dogs holler, don't they? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, so what are we doing? Why would you get upset? Why would you get upset? Why would you be triggered? Right? So, and I think women understand that very much. So women understand that. They understand if a message like this would have to come from someone, from big auntie OG like Erykah Badu. It would have to come from someone like her, definitely. Because I guarantee you, if it was some regular viral internet chick, some just a common average everyday Jane internet chick, you know what I'm saying? Then those hurt dogs would holler. They wouldn't hide in the corner, you know what I'm saying, or hide in the anonymous Twitter accounts, Twitter and internet accounts and social media accounts behind their keyboards. You know what I'm saying? They would straight up jump down that girl's neck. You know what I'm saying? But because it's coming from big auntie OG Erykah Badu, you know what I'm saying, and on the Billboard, on the stage like Billboard, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna play. We just gonna act like we don't see it. We just gonna play the cut, right? Like and be passive aggressive like women like to do. I'm gonna act like I don't see it. It's okay though. It's okay. It makes you better in the end. All right. So last topic. Where we at? I feel like tonight is probably like one of my, I would say it's my best show, but it's my most well structured show. I feel good about the way the show is flowing tonight. I feel like I'm getting my topics off. You know what I'm saying? I'm prepared. All that, like, so I'm patting myself on the back right about it. I'm very much so patting myself on the back. Here it is. There it is. Yeah. All right. Cool. So I'm gonna put this up. Here it is. There we go. All right. Let's touch on this. So, shout outs to first of all, I got blasted. So shout outs to my homegirl. She know who she is. She's probably gonna see this. I don't want her to bite my head off. So here you go. Shout outs to you for giving me the idea for this topic. And it wasn't even her idea. It was she saw a post. You know what I'm saying? Sent it to me, showed it to me, talked to me about it. You know what I'm saying? And now I got the idea and I posted about it. So here you go. There you go, sis. Kudos to you. But why do we downplay situationships when most marriages are situationships too? Now, I will say this. Most marriages, okay, maybe I was stretching, maybe I was reaching. I don't know. I will say most, simply because of, you know what I'm saying, the raw statistical data of the divorce rate. I'll go as far. I think it's safe to say most in this day and age, as I'm recording this, in this stage of our lives right now. I think it's safe to say that most marriages are situationships, simply because of the divorce rate being as high as it is. So, like, you could punch air, you could swing at air, you know what I'm saying? Like Cuba Gooding Jr. and Boys in the Hood, and you know, and be mad at me. Like, what's a situationship? A situationship. Oh my God. Right? Because let's keep it a bean. Like, marriage is the highest form of a man's validation to a woman. Let's keep it a bean. You know, because you can say, okay, your father can tell you you're beautiful, right? And you know what I'm saying, that'll boost your self-esteem a whole lot. That'll ground your self-esteem, really. You know what I mean? When you're getting that affirmation in the home, right? As a young girl, you know what I mean? And you're going out into the world, and you know, you look at the television and the cell phones and the laptops and the internet. You go on television and the internet, and they tell you, you know, you're ugly. You know what I mean? As a black girl, you're ugly, right? And then you come home, and then you're being told you're beautiful. And so now you have to say, well, who do I believe, right? You go to school, and then all the boys in the school are looking at the television and the internet, and they're saying, wow, that's beautiful. That's what I want to date and marry, right? And then you come home, and you're being and so the boys are telling you, well, you don't look like them girls, so you're not beautiful. And then, but you come home, and then you're being told you're beautiful, right? And so you're saying, who do I believe? And then now, for a lot of you black girls, you probably don't have, more than likely, statistically, you know, I would say the majority of you didn't have a father at home telling you that you're beautiful, right? So now you spend the majority of your life thinking that you're ugly. You know what I mean? And so you have to compete with the internet and television and the brainwashing of the boys in your school, and even your own brainwashing, because the internet and television has told you that you're ugly, in the magazines and so on and so forth, right? What does this have to do with situationships? Okay. Where was I going? Why did I bring this up? And so, the validation of marriage. So you go through all this. You go through this journey of your life of finding of seeking a man's validation. Pretty much. That's pretty much what I'm getting at. Like I say all of that to say that you go through this journey of your life seeking a man's validation, seeking a man to value you more than your booty or your breast or your vagina, right? Like, I get it. Cool. And so you meet a guy, and he falls in love with you. He worships the ground you walk on, and he'll wash your dirty drawers. You know what I'm saying? With his, you know, over, and he'll love your dirty drawers, as they say, right? Cool, great. And he marries you. So now you have this newfound badge of honor. Regardless of what the internet and television and the boys in the schoolyard back in the day and so on and so forth, regardless of what anybody thought of you, you're a wife now. Can't nobody tell you nothing. I know. I get it, right? You're a wife, right? And so you have this badge of honor. You have this high status, high achievement of validation, saying that you are married, you are a wife, till death do us part, right? Right? That's the traditional vows. Okay, great. And so now you can look down on these people. Oh, they're in a situationship. Ooh. Oh, a situationship. What is that? Oh, I deserve more. I deserve better. Oh my God. Oh, who would ever? Who would? Why would anybody? Oh no, not me. Not. I'm married. I'm a wife. Oh. You know what I'm saying? And you get the, you know what I'm saying? You get the puffing the chest up and, you know, dropping back your shoulders, and I'm a wife. So for a lot of women, you know, being married is very much so a badge of honor. So it's kind of pulling the rug from up under them and shaking the ground that they walk on by calling a marriage a situationship, right? But and shout outs to the young lady on my timeline. She really took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna give this whole dissertation, but the way she put it, it was just such a dagger, just a not even a dagger, a needle, just in your side, But what is she? Where is it? Let me see. So let's go to the comments. Let me pull it up. So this young lady says, how is a marriage a situationship? Right? And then my homeboy from high school, he says, why wouldn't it be? And then she says, I would define it as either you're married, you're separated, or divorced. Pick one. So here she is, you know what I'm saying, trying to build that wall, right? I'm validated. I'm a wife. Situationship. Oh, I scoff at thee. Right, here she is psychologically trying to hold her world together right now, right? This is her coping right now. This is her coping mechanism. And then he says, okay, I guess my point is you can be married and still be in a situationship. There are plenty of marriages where there is a lack of commitment. And she says, okay, great point. Okay, great. Cool. And then, but this other young lady, this is where she took the words out of my mouth. She says, sometimes people stay within a marriage because they're better off together. And she harps on financially than apart, unfortunately. And I think that's really the crux of it. It's really the financial aspect of it. But let's continue with the point. And then the young lady replies, I would still consider it a marriage, maybe an unhappy marriage, but not a situationship. And then she says, I don't know. She says IDK. So now her world is being shooken right now, and like she really has to. Now she's questioning herself. Now she's like, damn, like all these people got a good point. Like, and now and now that she's questioning her world, now she has to question herself. She says, damn, am I in a situationship? Oh no, like what's happening? Am I in a situationship now? Like she's now that you know she's going to bed, she got on her hair bonnet and her robe and her nightgown, you know what I'm saying? And she probably she probably, more than likely, most women don't sleep with bras on, you know what I'm saying? But she probably ain't got no panties either. You know what I mean? And at this stage in their marriage, I don't know. I'm just making all this up. This is just don't listen to me. I'm making all this up. So at this stage in her marriage, you know what I'm saying? When you first start dating and then she come to bed with no panties on, you like, word? Let's go. but you kind of get used to it. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, you know what I'm saying? She come to bed. Let's go to sleep. And now, you know, she's scratching her head and her scalp in her hair bonnet, and she's looking at him laying there. He already passed out, right? Because he had a hard day's work. And she's like, damn, why is he with me? Are we in a situationship? Right? And then, so now the can of worms just opened. And you can't sleep now. Now you in the bed, you sitting up, and he's like, babe, you going to sleep? What's up? What's going on? You ain't even watching TV. You just staring at the wall. Like, normally you be watching the latest Tyler Perry thing, right? But no, you just in the dark with your arms folded in your hair bonnet and your nightgown with no panties on, just like looking at your husband and then looking at the wall, looking at your husband and then looking at the wall. Am I in a situationship? Your world is being shook right now. And so once again, so she says, so the other young lady, she says, she says, okay, I would still consider it a marriage, maybe an unhappy marriage, but not a situationship, right? So she's revolving her life around a title. You know what I mean? Because remember, this is the highest form of a woman's validation, being married. Your father can tell you you're beautiful. He can tell you he loves you. But when another man who didn't give birth to you and doesn't have to love you and care for you actually loves you and cares for you and wants to marry you, there's no higher validation than that, right? People say, and people contest that and say, "Oh, there's no love like a child's love." Children don't really love you; they depend on you. let's kick over that sacred cow, okay? Hello, good morning. They don't really love you; they depend on you. So let's get that out the way and move on. Okay, great. But yeah, so the other young lady, she replies back and she says, "We would call it a marriage. We would call it a marriage, but would they?" I was stuck on that one. I was like, oh, this is on my thread. I didn't type that. She did. Like, dang. We would call it a marriage, but would they? You know what I mean? And she's right. Because yo, for those of you who've ever been married, and for those of you who've ever been in a miserable marriage or a marriage that was about to end, maybe you're divorced already. For those of you who are maybe, or wherever you are, you get what I'm saying. If you've been in a miserable marriage, the last thing you want to call that marriage is a marriage. I'm laughing, but it's no laughing matter. For like, the last thing you want to call a miserable marriage is a marriage. So it's like, it's definitely a situationship with a license on it. And this young lady took the words right out of my mouth. But you see, and that's the thing. That wasn't even the angle I was trying to go to, yo. You know what I mean? Because first of all, let's look at let's define a situationship, right? Let's do it. So when you think of a situationship, you think of people who are together. They're together for what they can do for each other. You know what I'm saying? The sex is good. He got a whole lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Or he you know, whatever benefit. It's either sex or money. It's either sex or money at the end of the day, right? They're together. There's not really. There may be some intimacy. There may not be. You know what I'm saying? It's just we're just doing what works, right? We're just doing what works. I think that's the key to a situationship. It works in the moment. You know what I mean? And at my big age, like I've learned that there's really nothing wrong with that. people like just like this young lady in my Facebook thread, you know what I'm saying? She wore her badge of honor, you know what I'm saying? And she held her chin up high and says, I have a title, right? But yeah, that what good is that title? It's like they say, no church in the wild, right? Like what good is that title? You know what I mean? When you're unhappy, what good is that title when there is no intimacy, there is no benefit? When the relationship isn't benefiting you sexually or financially or whateverly, right? If there's no benefit, then what good is your title? You see what I'm saying? And so you got to think a marriage is a long-term legally contractingly bindingly agreement, right? For the long term, for the rest, until death do you part, right? Great. Okay, cool. So over the long term, you know, you got to think just you yourself, you know, you're a unique individual. You know what I'm saying? You're nothing like the person you were however many years or decades ago, right? Right. Okay, right. So you evolve as a person, you know what I'm saying? You get older and wiser, maybe you get older and worser. Right? Let's keep it a beam. So you got two unique individuals who are going through the journey of life and evolving as individuals, coming together to form a relationship. You know what I'm saying? So two unique people come together to make a unique relationship that is evolving as a relationship, right? Like, come on. So you mean to tell me that relationship as it evolves it's impossible to evolve into a situationship? That marriage, as it evolves, is impossible to evolve or devolve into a situationship as time progresses. Just because you have a title? Who are you? What I remember reading the Bible. It says God is no respecter of person. And that statement always, I applied that statement in I interpreted and applied that statement in a various of ways. You know what I mean? Like what I took it as is you could think of yourself as whoever you may want, whatever status you may want to uphold yourself to be, but at the end of the day, you're human. At the end of the day, you have to deal with reality. You know what I mean? You have to confront your reality. You know what I mean? As an individual on this earth, right? You have to deal with your reality and be realistic with yourself about who you are and what you are and where you are in life and in the world, right? And so yeah, you can wear your badge of honor and say, I'm a situationship. Oh, I scoff at thee. I have a title. I'm a wife. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You can hold your chin up, hold your nose up in the air, right? And you know, you can paint your pretty little picture, you know what I'm saying, with your spirit fingers on having this highest form of validation, and having this title and this legal binding contract to the law of the land stating that we are an official couple before the Lord. Yes, right? And with all that pageantry, you're still in a situationship. He's with you just cause. You're with him just cause. And you know different from Ray and Nene down the block. You know different from them. The only difference is y'all have a legal contract. You see what I'm saying? So that was kind of the angle that I was coming at it with. You know what I'm saying? This well, yeah, pretty much she took the words out my mouth, but that's really, yeah, it's still it's a means to it. It's two points, two unique people. So my point was two unique people you know what I'm saying, coming together to form a unique relationship that progresses, and it can progress into a situationship, where she was saying that, hey, folks get together just cause, and it becomes a situationship. So it's a means to an end. So she took the words out my mouth. Shout outs to that young lady. Big ups to her. And this was a good talk. I felt like a lot of these points, a lot of these topics needed to be addressed and handled and broken down so they can forever and consistently be broke. So with that being said, I want to thank each and every last one of you for tuning into this multi-million-dollar podcast. Yes, I'm your host, Kev Prosper, the owner and founder of Prosperity U LLC. Prosperity U LLC is creating a society of wealth, positivity, and inspiration. You are tuned into Love and Money, the podcast of Prosperity U LLC. Thank you for contributing to the Cash App above at $Prosperity U LLC. Go to that Cash App and give it everything you got, and then visit the website below at prosperunlimited.com. Allow that website to change your life. I guarantee it, because it changed mine. Yes, and thank you for liking, subscribing, following, and sharing. But most importantly, thank you for sharing, because sharing is caring. Yes, and if you like the show, give a gift or just give a like. The likes are free, guys. The likes are free. And remember, we do this every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And last but not least, remember to invest in the brand, Prosperity U LLC. All right. It was a good show tonight, guys. It was one of my best shows, if not the best show tonight. I want to thank you guys so much. I will see you again next Monday at 9 p.m. All right? Bye.
Be sure to shop Amazon with Prosperity U LLC. Link in the description.
These are all of my books. My very first book, Leave the Fairy Tales Up to Disney, The Reality of Dating. Haunted Truths, a romance murder mystery set in the heart of Brooklyn during the 1980s, during the height of the crack era. Switch, my romantic comedy. My trilogy, Spirit of the Machine, 1, 2, and 3, sci-fi action thriller. My poem anthology, Red Garden. That is System of the Sun. That's my book on organizational skills. Don't wait till I get rich to buy that book. New Shoes. That's my book on self-esteem, on how to love yourself. Ratchetology. Yes, I'm the ratchetologist. Take my advice. Visit prosperunlimited.com and click travel to book your next vacation.
Do that freaky jam on the beat. Busy with that butter shit, that bone feed. Did you double do that song thing? Flicky with some butter, sit that phone thing. If you cheeky cheddar chuck, I get her own cheese. And say chicken with that head or this bitch that won't be with the official with that whole sleeve. Let these heat the wish that with that long.
I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch. If I don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch, I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you